Hi guys, I just want to give you some tip regarding plastering repairs. Now that's pretty bad, so I haven't sort of gone up there yet and had a look what needs to be done. The whole sort of that side might have to be removed, but I think I should be able to just sort of cut it somewhere in the middle and make some room for it to be pushed back, because at the moment the reason it is sort of curved outwards like that and there's a bowing outwards is because it's under stress. So because of the movement of the building, it's sort of, I think the building is sort of going, I can't even tell which way it's going, but I think it's coming this way, in that direction, yeah. So that plasterboard is, you can't really see it like this because of the light. So that piece of plasterboard is sort of going that way, yeah. And as a result of the stress there, it's just sort of broken in half, and that's why it's sort of bowed outwards, because it's got nowhere to go. It was butting up against the other part of the plasterboard, so it's sort of just had to find a way to sort of release that stress, so it's sort of bowed outward. But what I'm trying to, the reason I'm trying to make this video is that if you're repairing cracks like this, like this one here is a good example, you don't just want to start putting the plaster straight over it as it is, yeah, because you got to prepare that sort of joint properly to make sure that the plaster you put on is going to embed itself nicely, and it's going to be a strong joint. So you would need to open it up. I mean, that joint is that crack is quite wide, but I would still open it up a bit more. I'll bring a knife and show you what I do. Open it up a bit more, and I would sort of go from both sides of the crack. I would sort of make it like a V kind of shape, just so that if afterwards, once the taping is done and the plastering is done, you sort of push against this side or this side, and if there's still a bit of movement, then what happens is that this plaster that is here, right in that little V sort of section, is going to provide better strength and stop it from cracking. But if you were just to tape it as it is now, then that won't be a strong joint, yeah. So yeah, this is what I normally do. Just cut it out, clean it up, of course, as well. I'll give it you should probably give it a good wash around all those cracks on the painted surfaces, because painted surfaces, especially if it's like low sheen like this, they can be a bit dirty, and dust and dirt will always interfere with the adhesion of the plaster. And also, quite importantly, you should also give the painted surface around the joint a good sort of rough sand, yeah. Sand it with good rough sandpaper. You could go as low as like 40 grit or something. I usually use 80 grit, but you could probably go even lower than that, because the point is to make it nice and rough and open up the paint, just so that the plaster has better sort of adhesion. Okay, and of course, you know, you don't just sort of plaster over it, but you have to apply tape over these cracks, because otherwise then it will just crack again. So paper tape or fibre fuse tape. Don't use the fiberglass mesh tape, that sort of stick-on mesh tape, because that's not very strong. Fibre fuse or paper tape is what I recommend. Alrighty, hope it helps. Have a good day. Bye.